to like what is commonplace in hip hop in Durban specifically.
Yeah, it's.
But what they do is
They
very
I'm not here
authentic.
for you, son.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they are very authentic.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
Durban,
It's like
and I
TRO
dig it.
with lyrics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
I'm not. No,
Hey,
no, no.
Chucky must need to say that shit.
Oh, that was.
What it is, what it was, what it does, what it doesn't. Once again, we are back. It's the Full Story Podcast with your hosts. Introduce yourself this time. Try to bring your
I
graph.
was wondering why you always introduce me. I introduce myself for a living. I'm Richelieu.
And I am Kensei Funky. As we said, this is the Full Story Podcast. This is episode probably 3.
Yeah. Depending on what happens in the cloud.
It's a special one for us, a really special one. We have a special guest. Came all the way just for us.
All the way from Krugersdorp.
From Krugersdorp via Durban. It is songwriter, poet, singer, MC, all-round dope-ass human being, Raheem Kemet!
Salute.
Yeah! You see, we got no applause, so those are not clapping on the side.
Hey, man.
How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. You know, like I'm learning how to sit through intros, bro. Because
Yeah.
intros are very like intricate. I'm like, just
You know.
calm down. Just
Don't
let
jump
them
in.
speak.
You need to jump in. You need to jump in. Sorry for the handheld mic, bro. We had to change locations because of ESCOM, load shedding.
Yeah, ESCOM needs to be more hands-on.
Bruh. No, they're
Keep the
killing us.
punchline.
They need to be more hands-on. Put a hand on a cable or some shit like that. So, bro, you up in Johannesburg. What you doing this side?
Man, basically, I'm out here pushing a single, but at the same time, just trying to develop more, how can I say, networks to help the rest of the project grow.
Yeah.
Also creating, also chilling with you guys.
You know.
I mean, so, yeah, it's a productive month. It's a month that has been calculated.
Dope.
basically.
How long are you going to be here?
A month.
Month. Productive month. Oh, my bad. Little high.
Nah, but well, the intention is to come back and forth, depending how this couple of weeks go.
So the single that you're promoting is Somersault, right?
Yes.
And you just dropped a video. Mm-hmm. It is a dope video.
Oh, where?
A dope video. I sent it to Annie.
Yeah, because I listened to it.
Annie was like, oh, shit.
The video is dope, bro. Because I
this is
listened
fire.
yesterday. I was like, okay, let me get some that background.
Yeah, because you weren't familiar with Raheem, right?
Weird
Before.
thing though. I actually used to listen to. This is what I realized yesterday when I was looking at your videos because I was going back. But I started with the somersault thing, which is dope, bro. I was like, what? Because nowadays when you watch a video from someone that's from your city, you're always looking out for places that you know.
Where the fuck is this song?
The shots that are gonna be in that video type thing.
Right? And I kept looking out and you're like in a car park, but the video was so dope. But I was like, that's not a common thing though, right? Because this is what I wanted. This is actually what I wanted to ask you. I was like about the video and tying the video into like a dope track. Like, how important is it for you as an artist that your video has to be dope? You know what I mean? How much power does the video carry?
I mean, immense power, because that's another leg of communication of what you actually initially meant with your work. You know what I mean? So, like, it depends on what your song is actually about as well. But sometimes people tend to go the typical route because you're like, okay, I want to make a hit song. This is what a hit video needs. It needs a couple of thotties.
Yeah.
A kusheshe.
It needs a kusheshe, maybe.
A pool.
Okay, cool. It needs to be, you check. So
yeah, exactly.
I mean, for us this time round, it went back down to what I represent. If you notice, like there's a prayer like in the beginning because like that's what I do. Like, not necessarily dramatic, but every single day starts like that. Like, give thanks. Like the more you give thanks, the more you get.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just,
the culmination.
yeah. So and like Somersault, like the meaning behind that actual song is actually just flipping shit.
I wanted to ask that. What does somersault?
You know, I broke it down in an Instagram post where I said, what did I say again?
It's your post, man.
Because you post too much.
No, check. I broke down the what's the words again? What salt does? Like the many uses of salt, the characteristics of salt, and then I broke down
the mineral itself.
Yeah, shot. And then I broke down a somersault is like when you flip in the air and land on your feet. Salt being like a purifying factor, a factor that helps in many aspects. You know what I mean? So it came from there. But at the same time, people had to develop their own meaning of what I was trying to do. What I'm trying to do is push craftsmanship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's
bring it
the
back
essence.
to the forefront of hip hop.
Yeah, that's the
music.
essence of life. You know what I mean? Like you got to be a craftsman with whatever you do in terms of excellence. You got to know how to. So yeah, so with that in mind, my communication on video had to be something that is not your typical
generic
representation of Durban. We actually wanted to find different architecture, like maybe view it differently.
Because the only thing I recognized was City Wall.
Yeah.
Standing
That is
over
the only thing I recognized.
That's the only
I'm
place
like,
we
where's
could go.
this,
As
bruh?
colored people, that's basically the only place we went.
You know what? You walk past these places all the time when you go to Durban.
But it's got that historic vibe though.
Yeah,
It's dope.
you check. You walk past it all the time, but we don't take our time to stop and
appreciate.
check the spot out.
Like you're saying, the craftsmanship
Yeah.
as well.
But for us, like that's where we used to appreciate that when we were young because that's where we used to go.
Imagine if we had
our parents used to like appreciate the shit.
Imagine if we had
That's
camera
like,
phones
chill.
back then, bruh.
Yeah.
Imagine if we had camera phones back then. Because now you go Durban City Hall, you're not taking photos, you're not a tourist in your city. But back then you were like, oh, this is
Because I actually went to the
with my Smirnoff on me.
spaces, you know, like
yeah to hide and drink there.
Hey, dude, I can't say that. But
Why?
anyway,
Why can't you say?
No, it's fine.
The full story.
Let's just move on.
handbrake. But that's what happens on the full story.
Need more Fox. You need more of this.
You get disarmed. Nah, he's on the lemonade.
But I went to the thing, to the not the museum. Have you been in the museum? The Durban
Museum.
Art gallery. Yeah.
The one at the T-Rex.
I actually performed there once.
I went. Yeah.
At the museum.
Yeah.
Because they did like a revamp.
Some like they used to have these events called Red Eye.
Yes, I remember. Yeah,
and they had
the
one
art
day.
event.
So like I did like a poetry, hip hop / piece there as well.
You've come from the live performance space, you know. Now, especially like nowadays, you've got an abundance of rappers, especially in or artists, but specifically in hip hop. It's so easy to make music nowadays that everybody's a rapper, everybody's a singer. So you've got a whole lot of
Everybody gonna get the bag.
Everybody's getting the bag. So you've got a whole lot of. You've got a whole lot of SoundCloud artists, you've got a whole lot of online artists, but you don't see them performing.
Yeah,
you know?
this
Now,
is the discussion that
we
we're
had-
always having.
yeah.
Yeah, it's about the fact that it's
Now-
not accessible.
You've been in the game for so long, right? And coming from your background of live performance, that was very important for us in our era when we came up, you know,
right.
in the game. And that has changed now. So how are you finding that shift? Like, is there still that appreciation for live performances that you remember back then? Is it still the same now?
I feel the appreciation is the same because the people want live music. But I do feel that the live sector suffers its own problems as well because the type of people that are putting people on are the promoters, and the promoters are checking stats. The promoters are checking who is going to bring through numbers. They're speaking to sponsors. They need like certain numbers to be at a space. Okay, I need these type of guys to flip and perform because it's going to translate back to everything behind the scene, which is like 50% dope and 50% whack because there are guys that don't necessarily or aren't necessarily how can I say it on TV or have
in the
crazy-
commercial space
in a commercial space who are very talented live. If they had to break down the music with the type of bands that they rock, like we got exceptional musicians coming out of our schools,
crazy
bro.
live acts, bro.
You know, so like it there's like a 50-50 vibe with that. You know, it's very important. And also to go back with the actual new school and how they approach the game. I feel they approaching the game in a different way. Some of them are very interested with that live space,
Yes.
like, you know, tapping with big bands or just elevating their live representation of the music, like
And their brand overall as well.
But there's always that vibe of which spots you're gonna perform at, the type of shows you need to get on are being booked first. Like the guys that have been booked first are the guys that are creating noise. That's
the ones that are there for the numbers.
So which is so crazy because if you are a fan of live music and live performances, at your core you want to experience new acts, new dope acts.
Most def. That's what I'm saying. Like the people want to.
They want to be
the
wowed.
music, you know what I mean?
But also another thing, also for me.
But that's why we have our underground spots as well.
That's what I was gonna say.
You know what I
On the
mean?
flip side, I'd
which
rather
are
go underground.
Turning around, bro.
Yeah,
It's some dope shit's popping out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's
What
some
I think is
activity
really
there.
cool, like you're saying, the underground thing, but what I think is really cool in the new age and why a lot of kids are handling their own shit really well is because of the access, firstly, to information.
Yes.
Technology, man.
Technology
Mobile
has
phones,
given
so many apps
has
out there.
even the playing field so much because nowadays you can create your own buzz. You don't need a street team.
You
that's
are-
important.
You know,
Yeah.
you
You are
have,
your own- you
you
are the
have
buzz.
access. I mean, YouTube has a
important.
membership of over 1 billion, bruh.
Yeah.
So you have access to 1 billion people out there from the comfort of your own home, bruh.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
as long as you find a way to create something really, it doesn't necessarily have to be unique, but really dope, like really attractive to
But that's the thing. is
the
that,
audience.
like the underground is a weird thing because,
So
like,
is there really an underground?
this is what I'm
anymore?
saying. Because
I don't really think so. It's just
you're just not on the scene.
there's a thing called radar.
Yeah.
You're not on the radar. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not
radar.
on some people's radar, and that's a word that you normally come across.
Top of mind.
How does I actually wanted to save this question for much later, but I think I need to ask it now. How do you handle being so dope and not getting the recognition that you know you deserve?
Of course, it's frustrating.
Okay.
You know,
For so long,
as
you know?
as every human being would be. Like, man, I'm just trying to spin this a different way. Like, there's one thing that my partner back in Durban, Luyanda, he's my business partner.
Okay.
And what we speak about is not doing it the way that it's being done.
Yeah.
Maybe we have to get it a different way. And then you start getting confident in your movement.
Yeah.
Then you start realizing that you got to put more effort in your movement type vibe because that is how the game is. But there's ways that people have tapped into to make that shit flip.
Yeah.
Because there's no use me just complaining and chilling there and being frustrated and shit
Because it's easy to be the old head. Yeah.
That's not gonna work. That's not gonna take me anywhere. So now I have to view this game and figure out who I am. Like, the first thing that we did when we started working together was defining who I am, my core values, what I stand for, what I'm trying to communicate, and then see the alignment with what is out there. You know what I mean? And shit.
That's why I had to apologize from the beginning.
You know, see the alignment and then position yourself. It's business. It's not gonna happen.
Keyword.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. I mean, we were underground MCs. We just wanted to rhyme. We just wanted to perform. We just wanted to do your rare
just wanna
shows
do
here and
dope
there.
shit.
You know what I mean? Now we at a different place where it's bigger. It's bigger than the music. Of course, the music wants to live.
Yeah.
The music has to live for everything else to work. But there are other things that we also need to tap into, like the business side of music.
Yeah.
It's not just about the raps. You can have the dopest bars, but if you don't have a structure,
Is that why now you're in Josie saying for the next 30 days, whatever? Is that the reason you're here? Is this part of that vision that you?
Yo, my twins are coming, bro. So I need.
Yeah. The babies is coming.
Yo, the ladies is coming, bro. That's that. You know. So Like, I think that's a little jolt in the focus. But of course, the single just dropped. I'm trying to figure out how I can maximize on the single, type of people I can meet, if I can do some shows. I need to do some interviews. Well, I am doing an interview right now. But it's just trying to be productive with every day, just to build up so I can sort out stuff at home.
Yeah.
And also just grow in the industry, because this year I want to release more music. Like, for the past 2 years, I haven't released because we would still.
But you've been working on the foundation.
Yeah, like there's.
Have you thought of leaving Durban ever?
Yes. I've thought of leaving Durban a lot.
Isn't that sad though, bro?
But that is sad.
That's what I'm asking. What keeps you?
Not like, I feel the living space. Personally, it's a good space. Spiritually, Durban, you know what I'm saying? But like, in terms of now me actually making a living with what I really want to focus on, which is music, I have to be here for a bit, or have to travel back and forth. I do want to move. I've been speaking to some homie of mine about international moves, even because I know that I have to be in different spaces to be exposed to different networks.
For what you do and the way you do it, you've got a massive appeal internationally. Like, if you look at guys like, also from Durban, Bailuanster.
Yeah.
The international moves that he's making. Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Bailuanster. And he's been in it for relatively a short time, you know. But I think what he's figured out is that the market that he wants to tap into and the way that he wants to deliver his art to us is not really going to be appreciated in his home country.
It's true that. That's something
so crazy,
that has been happening with a lot. Like, it happened with like a lot of musicians.
Black Rock.
Okay, Malunku Cat.
Yeah.
He blew up like traveling, dude. Blow up there. They love you here.
Yeah.
They accept you here. Why is that? But anyway, that's just
But why is that though? Like, why do you like?
I don't know, man. Like a prophet's never appreciated in his hometown first. People always say that, you know. But I think
like it goes back to Durban specifically. Durban, cause there are an abundance, have been, is and will be an abundance of amazing talent that comes from Durban, but only really get the support and appreciation from Durban once they are supported nationally.
That's true. So once you're not in,
which is crazy, bro. And then Durban complains like, no one comes here.
Like 300, you know, like
prove yourself, motherfucker. Come back when you don't. Come back when you.
Then we know, like.
But having said that, is there an act in Durban that hasn't been exposed to us that you think should be up there, exposed, put in the front?
So many. I stayed next to this reggae Afro fusion band called Afro Gong.
I've heard of them.
These guys, like, they
do a lot of cool runnings there.
Yeah, and this homie, he basically started the drum circles and drum clinics, and now he started this band. Like the reason why I'm saying this guy, because his music is, he can blow up in Canada, you know, like, he's the type of music is world music. It crosses and covers all genres. Bring it back to hip hop, of course, by Luanster. Well, people are actually hearing him now. Yeah. There's a honey called Sky Wonder, who's pretty sick. I think she was on Idols, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And she's been around for a minute.
Yeah, and like, she had to step back of that, but now she's doing some dope ass shit, like really dope band. Yeah, bro. There's a gang.
So you run shows where do these people play at these things that you run in Dubs as well?
Yeah, you've got home cook sessions that you run in Dubs.
Home cook sessions is like a newly started series of events that I just put together, like with my crew down in Durban, just trying to promote and give a space for like artists. You know what I mean? Or
why home cook sessions? What's the significance of the name?
Man.
Because it's at the pause.
Because the meals always taste best at home.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But like, that doesn't necessarily mean that the event series has to stay in Durban, because I'm out here as well trying to establish a rollout here too.
For home cook sessions. Yeah. That would be dope. That would be dope. So like, for the people that don't know, explain exactly what happens at home cook sessions. Like, what is it?
Home cook sessions is a really dope space. We're just trying to put artists on. We got DJs, we got live performances. We try to do well, we had a campaign last year called "Take Me to Soul."
I heard about that.
Yeah. And
Who won? Did you announce the winner yet?
We did. The homie that won is Ziggy Stardust.
Ziggy Stardust, yeah.
Really dope MC. So like with that movement now, it didn't quite follow through because it brings it back to the whole vibe of getting support from your city in the arts.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel sometimes there needs to be a tighter ship that is run with that. I'm not putting blame on that, but just more accessible.
But what do you think is the problem then? So being in the scene in Durban for so long, I mean, you coming from, these guys actually were the original thoughts. But the meaning is so much more significant. Tree Houses, was it On the Sea?
On the Sea, yeah.
Tree Houses on the Sea.
Yeah.
So that was it your first or second band that you
that was my first live band.
Your first live band, right?
band, first album.
And that stemmed from your, I think, relationship and collaboration with the late, great Steve Fatah.
Yes,
Durban legend.
Yo, that
in
was
the
crazy.
music scene, bro.
Steve Fatah put me on the live vibe, man.
How did you meet Steve, bro?
I met Steve through his son. His son is Dane.
Okay. Stops.
Dane Stops. Yeah. Mad as graffiti writer. Lecturer at
DUT. Shout out Dane.
Shout out Dane. You know, cause we had a hip hop crew called Percocet.
Yes.
We also met through the hip hop scene, and so I met Steve through Dane, and then from there, I kind of just got magnetized to the pops because he was just he'd always be at home playing. You'd always find him playing. That's his vibe.
Music was everything.
It was everything. Rock
in
up
that
in the
man,
crib, there's
bro.
a grand piano there. There's some. He just comes in the lounge, picks up a guitar. Hey, how's it, man? How you doing? You know what I'm saying? And he's
Imagine coming preaching. What's happening, bro?
It's just all over. That's what he did all the time, and I was I was blown away by that, and then just seeing the whole live thing, how a live band works. I started beatboxing for him at shows. I used to beatbox
for his live shows.
his live set. He used to have this at Zach's.
So
Zach's
you were
there.
a beatboxer.
Yeah.
You become a beatboxer because of the vibe.
I became a beatboxer because I couldn't produce. You know what I'm saying?
I do my own shit.
Yeah, sure. I couldn't produce my own beats. So the first track that I ever came up with, this track here was chosen for this hip hop compilation back in '98 called Asina Mover, a Durban hip hop compilation.
Okay.
And how I basically did it, I had this techniques. Is it techniques at home? Simple hi-fi vibes. You know the simple hi-fi vibes you find.
Double tape.
The stack one.
Double cassette
tape,
deck,
Yeah, the stack one got mics in as well. Everything.
Yeah, it has a little, the jack input.
Yeah.
Simple.
So many of us started like that.
I'd bump a tape in this one. I'd beatbox. Take that tape out, put that tape inside B,
Record
take the
that
other
shit
tape,
while you play.
And
record that shit, record it, and just overdub, and just keep overdubbing.
Then
That's
you
how
build a
I
track
built
like
my
that,
first
bruh.
track.
Yeah.
The track was called Childless Silence.
And it ended up on an
back
album.
in the day, it was called Childless Silence,
That's who you started being Child of Silence.
Childless Silence.
And when did Raheem Kemet? How did you feel? How did you
Raheem Kemet
evolve
came.
into Raheem Kemet?
That came with age. I feel because
ass.
Kemet is definitely symbolic for kingship or when a man comes to his own. The literal meaning is black sands.
Yeah.
Because in Egypt they had those black sands.
Yeah.
And
this is also reference to Kemet the place. As well.
Place. Yeah. Ancient Egypt was called
yeah.
Kemet. Yeah. So that is just symbolic for kingship coming into your own. Realizing that you have to take the reins type vibe, and Raheem is my Muslim name. That's. So
spirituality clearly is a massive part of your being and your music.
Yeah, I feel it's all connected, bro. In some way, everything is connected. Everything. You know what I mean?
We are
From
the
what
universe.
you eat, from what you eat, even Like, of course, we wild out from time to time. I mean,
may have a McDonald's every night.
We're nothing but mere humans,
Yeah.
bro. You know, but like, you know, it's like everything's interlinked.
Yeah.
Mm.
So you grew up in the West. This is what I was interested in.
Yeah,
Newlands
sorry.
West.
Newlands West.
Newlands
And
West.
I'm from
Well,
Newlands
I say
East.
the West.
Newlands West, in Hopdale.
In Hopdale.
Hopdale, Hip Hop Dale. As corny as fuck.
Because
But
so
anyway,
are we
that's where I grew up.
In Newlands East. So we grew up in obviously
the
Newlands
East, yeah.
East.
I have family in the East.
So you and then you moved from there to
Moved from there,
Phoenix.
I went to Queensborough, Chatswood, Phoenix. Not that far.
No, weren't you in Chatswood for a bit?
Yeah, I got family in Chatswood. That's where my grandmother's from. The Zanzibari Mako people from Chatswood. So that's where we used
That's
to
your
go to
mother's
visit.
family, right?
Yeah.
And your pops is Zulu.
So how
My
does
pops is Zulu.
so how does all those cultures and like interacting and living in those spaces? How does it affect
Bruh,
you?
I have had culture flipping, confusion for eons because I go to different spaces and it's always this thing of having to explain yourself, and I'm just like, I'm me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So I wanted to. I'm glad
part
you
of
guys went
everything.
there because I
I'm
wanted
part
to
of
ask.
everything. Like,
So you are Muslim, right? Religiously,
Yeah.
you are Muslim, but
Yeah.
you also studied the Bible for a bit.
yes.
Was that a just for a thirst for knowledge, both academically and spiritually, or was it the pursuit of the religion itself? Did you leave Islam for that period, or were you still just studying the Bible?
It was a spiritual move. I did how can I say it? Accept Christ.
Yeah.
In the triune sense of it. That's the Father, Son,
Father, Son, Holy
and the
Ghost,
Holy
yeah.
Spirit. And in that moment in time, it was weird because it was a spiritual connection at first before anything was needed to be explained theologically. And then when you went down to the theological sense, I was met with a whole lot of, just questions. You know what I mean?
Studying the Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for me,
That you can't find answers to.
Nah, for me, it had to be a journey, and I get this question a lot, and people are like, okay, so now you just like don't believe Christianity. No, that's not where I'm
Yeah,
at.
were you getting a lot of
That's-
judgment at the time?
Of course, hardcore
From the family and
from the family. Now, not necessarily. I had judgment on the outside in a cipher.
Okay.
Cause I was just hardcore,
Yeah.
like, and then someone's like this other Muslim friend of mine was like, what, like, and he was on some nation of, and like he was deep into Nation of Islam, and actually called. Well, I was speaking to him before. He's the homie that's hooking me up with some venue out here.
All right, yeah.
So like we still good. And he was just like, yo, what's going on, bro? Yo, this is how it is. He came through with a rap, on the cypher. And I'm like, okay, sure. But yeah,
I'm trying to battle you for your spirituality.
I'm like, yo, it's my journey, bro. It's my journey. Like we still cool now. So I did receive kind of backlash.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, what kind of summed everything up for me in a sense and helped me to transcend was I noticed unconditional love, and that came from my mother as well. You know what I mean? Hey, mothers are deep, bro.
Yo, I almost said something foul, bro. Well, not foul, but just dirty.
So that actually took me to another
That's how you
level
had to
where,
fit in there.
I could be staying. I'm staying at a Christian missionary spot right now with
Shout out, Lo.
like
What
with my
time is
homie,
morning
and-
prayer?
Hey?
We were morning prayer.
You know what I'm saying? No, like and that just shows you the transcendence. That
Because you're comfortable in that space.
Yeah, it's if I see a person being involved in something that is spiritual and they are multiplying in whatever sense and form, then I'm gonna encourage that person to do that. I'm moved from a space where it's a judgmental thing or this, that. Although we do have our arguments and we do have our conversations in you know, at home, and that's just normal because that's the type of people we are. We like to ask questions, but there's a higher sense.
But that is dope because you guys engage each other. It's not like traditionally where it's like I'm right, you wrong.
Yeah, but
that's
the weird.
Way,
That is the dark side, I guess, of any religion. Is like what makes something that's supposed to be spiritual, like you say. Say to you, if somebody does something else spiritually, don't like them.
Yeah.
Like, how can I not like you?
One of the key things is love thy neighbor. We forget that, even though it's said haphazardly. But
it doesn't say love thy neighbor. But there's no but.
You know what I'm saying? So
nobody notices that one.
Yeah, because it's just love that neighbor. But it transcends beyond your life. Yeah. It's a heavy statement. That's why that's what I dig about simple things. You know what I mean? Simple things are they're powerful.
Yeah,
they're
getting deep. Yeah. Let's give a shout out because we need to pour. Richelieu and I need to pour a little drink. So we want to give a shout out to Richelieu. Okay, bro.
I'm looking at my notes.
Oh, I thought you meditated. He's so like, got him
so hit me with the numbers. I'm just here like, oh Lord.
Twisted. Only out here at the Bible.
I'm
what did he say? Let's give a shout out to our sponsors as usual. Fox Street Gin. You know, we're picking up the 031. This is a celebration of the 031 right here because this is 031 Sons. Happening over here, you know. And our sponsors are also from the
just keeps
Fox
happening.
Street Gin, bruh. The homies from Newlands.
It's the repetition. It's that Illuminati repetition. It's the numbers.
This is all Newlands, bruh. This is all Newlands. Guy that makes this from Newlands East. The guy that makes glamorous clothing from Newlands East. This is Newlands. This is 031. So shout out to our sponsors. Much love as always.
People that are watching this from Newlands East.
Hopefully,
now also
from other spaces as well. Now also from Newlands West. As
Newlands West, at least Newlands West will be listening now.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you, bruh.
Yeah.
So you've been in the game for a minute.
Yeah.
You know, started Tree Houses on the Sea, Percocet. You know, you've
One My Society, Child of Silence.
Look at that.
The Reapers.
So in the Durban scene, you are an OG, right? You are. Yeah.
No, just carry on.
Yeah, you are, bro. It's not even a question.
It's just such a weird term when you're still out there.
Yeah, it makes you feel old. That's shit. You feel old. But you are still active. That's the difference.
Yeah.
You may be an OG, but you are still active. And now you're here in Josie. You are signed. A lot of people may not know, but Raheem is signed to a major label, which is Sony Music Entertainment. So just to clarify for the young aspiring artists, rappers, or whatever, but more specifically hip hop rappers, what are the realities of signing to a major? Because a lot of the youngsters, because I know when we were coming up as well, you think you get signed, fuck your life.
Yeah, you romanticize.
Blowing up.
You romanticize
You're gonna be the shit now.
Driving in the section in a Ferrari now.
I just need to sign here and I'm dope. You know. So
that's the facade they feed us with.
That's actually a thing.
What is the reality? Because you are signed to Sony as an artist. You've got music that has and is playing on national radio. You've performed overseas, you know. So on paper, Raheem looks like he is where I need to be. Like when I'm coming up, like wow, my life is made. What is the reality like though?
Real life is real life, player.
Shit ain't sweet.
Shit ain't sweet. Yo, you gotta hustle, bro. Man, like okay. In terms of
like for one, there are different deals. First,
yeah. Okay. First of all, there are definitely different deals. There's your licensing deal. Then there's your artist deal. You can have a publishing deal. So there's various types of deals.
So you have
I have an artist deal.
Artist deal.
Right. 3-album deal with Sony. Artist deal. That was signed, I think, 2 years ago.
Okay.
It was renewed because first I had a licensing deal.
Yes, I know that. Initially, that was off the back of the fire, right?
Yeah, sure. Like a licensing 3-single type deal. That's where you basically give the product to the label. They don't pay for recordings, nada. They just push it, like set up your online distribution, etc. And
do they market it as well? With the licensing?
Yeah. Okay. So that's
but
only
there's
online.
obviously levels.
Yeah.
Marketing,
of course.
Please, Rich.
Do you want some juice?
Yeah. So for me. Right now, it's like I've been studying climates.
Okay.
You know, especially the climate of hip hop now, as well as the climate of our country. Music. What type of vibes are popping, etc.
Yeah.
You know, if you in a label, there's like a release schedule.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because like you're stepping up in a label,
And there's also a roster.
There's
so
like a gang of artists
Yeah.
on like a label. You know what I mean? I don't want to give any numbers, but
it's
there's
a
like
lot.
a release schedule, and you know, you gotta align with that. I feel some of the things that make particular artists struggle with being in a label is because either they haven't had buzz before they signed, or like when they signed, it's hard to create buzz. Like, remember I said climate, right? The climate of hip hop right now is like, you gotta release music, you gotta release content.
this is from a commercial perspective.
On a frequent on a frequent rate, just generally
Okay,
hip hop, you got to release content. You know, of course, there's a single you have to focus on, etc. So, you know, that there's no limit to how much you can release, etc. But in a label sense, there is a release schedule.
Yeah.
Which tends to take away from, okay, the climate is this right now.
Because also, like
a
you're
lot
saying,
of content
yeah.
needs to be pushed in order for my product to be, because like
At a specific time as well.
Lifespan of a video now is like maybe 2 months or maybe a month. Boom, peeps want something new. Next,
It's
boom,
what we always
peeps
talk about.
want
It's the
something new.
fast food
You know what I mean?
era now with
sure.
music.
It's
Quick consume out. What's next?
Yeah, sure. It's weird, you know. So yeah. So that's just what you should think about when you think about signing. I'm like, that's one of the realities.
So as with an artist deal, for your specific deal, I'm assuming that you retain a lot of creative control over what you create.
Yeah.
But
It's
you
not-
had
it's-
to
yeah.
sacrifice that in terms of budget, like, because
Yeah.
the more they give you, the more they control.
Yeah, it's very weird, because it's like, okay, I can create a bunch of music, right? And it's always about the season of sounds, what's happening on radio, etc. And also, it's not just about the music. You need to start pushing that buzz to get that out.
You need to basically build a brand.
You need to make buzz,
Yeah.
basically. You need buzz. You know what I mean? That's the only way you pop. Now, to create that buzz, you have to release content. But now you're working towards a single that you just
But your content,
produce.
your content you're putting out is dope already, right? I'm just saying specifically in your example, your music's dope, the graphics are dope, everything's dope, right?
Yeah.
So is it just, are you literally signed for the buzz now?
Nah.
Because being dope,
Because
like-
I mean, it's there. There's nothing
Yeah.
different. I can't imagine it's gonna be
like,
different.
What I've learned is that you have to work your deal.
Right.
Deals are gonna be, sometimes sour, sometimes whack as fuck. Sorry, I had to say it.
you have to,
You know
man.
what I mean?
There's
Whack
no
as fuck.
rules.
But you have to work your deal. Like, there's many ways that you can.
You also have to know your deal.
Yeah, you also have to know your deal. I can't speak about certain things
Yeah.
right now because I'm bound to contract. But like the whole vibe is, now I'm finding new ways to align what I'm doing with that structure. Of course, what I'm working towards at the end of the day is to have a stable of my own.
Right.
Not necessarily going to tell people when that's going to happen, but I will know when things are aligned for me to actually branch out and have a stable on my own and push what I want to push.
But that, I suppose, is the independent spirit that you've always had.
I mean, that's yeah, dude. That will never leave. I'm an entrepreneur at heart. You know what I mean? So I have to
Musicpreneur.
I have to realize why I'm with Sony, and I have to figure out a way to work with that for a little bit till I'm like, okay,
Can I ask then? prior to Sony, let's compare the two eras.
Yeah.
Pre-Sony Raheem, post-Sony Raheem.
Yeah.
All right.
Post Sony Raheem was releasing a whole lot of music.
Do you feel you are in a better position since signing?
Man, there have been a few struggles, bruh. I felt that I should have released more music. I wanted to release more music, but because
But you are obviously held back a bit because
because we've been trying to. There's this thing of the climate of music, but then but there's no rules now.
Exactly.
And that's what I've been trying to kick. Like whenever I'm like chatting to the peeps out there at the stable, it's just like, yo, there's no rules to this. Let's try and tweak it this way. Let's try and do it this way because this might work. That old structure doesn't really equate to anything right now.
So do you miss the freedom then pre-signing where you decide when and how you want to release your
Most
content?
def, yeah. That.
But then you sacrifice
but that
the reach.
I've said yes. Because nobody knew Raheem for like flipping how many years, dude? For like 10 years.
We knew Raheem.
I mean,
but in the broad scope
in the broad, like I wasn't on radio.
Yeah.
I was doing shows. I was doing all of that shit. I didn't receive that type of check from music yet. But
in the
as soon as I
commercial
signed,
space,
I received that type of check. But now the thing is like making that check happen a lot more often.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's what you want.
Multiplication of the...
Yeah. You know what I mean?
But the difference, I
That's
think,
what you
is you, like you were saying earlier, like just now, you are figuring out how Raheem is going to, if I can put it in my terms, pump this deal.
Straight.
You know? So,
Best believe.
you know? So
Grew
a lot
up
of...
in the city of Pittsburgh.
City of Hard Knocks, bro. So a lot of
City of Hard
artists
Knocks.
would take the route of, right, let me rather complain about my deal. Let me make noise. Let me badmouth my label, this, that, and the other. Whereas you can look at what you signed.
Integrity for me is key throughout, because throughout this journey we are making relationships with people.
Yeah.
Those relationships are very important. You shouldn't be about burning your bridges, but learning how to multiply and grow your network.
Build your shit.
You know what I'm saying? I'll be chilling with like one of the homies from Sony, and like he's been telling me about people, you know, and that's just us kicking it, bro, and just talking. Is like, hey, you know, there's some flipping idiots out there, which some people would see. But
these are well-known idiots,
dude. Yeah, and that destroys your business. That destroys your scope, because people are going to talk about you regardless.
Yeah.
That's what you need to know from the jump. People are going to talk about you. So the way you
move, flip that shit.
The way you move,
learn how to somersault that shit.
Somersault,
you know,
straight, bro. Like,
but real
I'm
time.
telling you, bro. Yeah.
Because you are everything, brother. Because that's
so
exactly
integrity and your brand is important.
Another thing, we talk about branding, bruh. Integrity, but what I feel a lot of, sometimes not even up and coming artists, like artists that do have a little bit of a buzz and are creating something, don't understand the importance of branding. Like,
very important.
And sometimes it's not their fault or our fault. Sometimes the art is so dear to us that we don't care about branding. You don't care about making this thing that you are abundantly talented in, as looking at it as a business. Because a lot of times, I know personally, I'm sure both you guys know, when you consider yourself and your art as a business, it does to a certain extent take away from the artistry in some places, you know.
Yeah.
You have to learn how to...
You can't focus your energy.
Exactly, because you have
everything.
to be worrying about...
You have to have a balance, I feel.
You have to plug into a system, like you're saying, like at Sony, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's all the systems are there. You just need to figure out where your plugs go.
Dude,
and how do you make that balance?
With that, I had to form my own team. I have a homie who does something. I have this is my go-to guy for graphics. This is my go-to guy. Like, there's a network. Let's make one now. Like a go-to guy for
and a lot
visuals.
of people will look at Raheem and think that, yo, this motherfucker's doing it all himself. You know? This motherfucker doing it all himself,
No,
but you don't
I have
understand the
people-
importance
I
of
have
a
people
team,
that-
bro.
Dude, like that's if
But
you
that,
go,
but that essentially is doing it for yourself now.
Yeah.
That's the new doing it for
it's-
yourself. You need
exactly. That's
you need the guy.
that's it.
Let's pause. 5 minutes, bro. It's that contraband. It's that contraband. Oh, come,
Drop
let's
it,
do a
bruh.
let's do a remix. Let's do a remix. Whose hook is it?
Get
Whose
your
hook is it?
rollout plan right.
I know it's crazy. That's like the light shit, bro.
Yeah.
I got some fucked up shit.
Fuck,
yo,
that
bro.
hook is so dope, bro.
But I'm a puss, bro.
You need to stop being a puss. I have to ask, bro, because this is a question that speaks to my heart as well. How many times have you tried to quit?
Whew. Man, I've had. Well, I did quit. Not quit. I stopped music for like 3 years.
That's why I said try.
But 3 years is a long time, bro.
3 years, yeah. It was 3 years when I was studying theology.
Oh, so you had stopped music while you were busy
Yeah, I
with theology?
stopped, and then I actually picked it up. I think I picked it up in the 3rd year.
Okay.
We did a play, like a Christian version of Annie.
Okay.
At the church. Yeah, it was pretty dope. It was like
Yeah.
production. It was nice. It was nice. So like that's where I picked it up again.
What did you
But
call
then,
Christian Annie?
No,
What is her name?
and that's called Annie.
Oh, so you kept the
Yeah,
same
we
name.
kept the
Oh,
same.
okay,
Yeah,
like,
it's the same
just
board,
rebranded the whole thing.
Just in church.
church.
Heathens.
Yeah, you know what? Blasphemous. So in that space, I started going back to like your secular scene, that center. But yeah, that
Your
was
favorite place?
Shout out to
That
Best
was
Center, my
one.
Your favorite
place in
place?
the whole
And
of the world.
then I wanted to not necessarily quit, but put it on breaks a little bit when my first kid was born, Idris. But that was weird because like a couple of months afterwards, I went on the spiritual thing. It always comes back.
It always comes back
I
for
went
you,
to Cape
bruh.
Town on some Muslim.
Yeah, you had like a
vibe.
pilgrimage type of
Yeah,
thing.
sure. Like I went to Cape Town for that vibe, and then Gavin Day was sending me beats,
Shout out, Gav.
and then
In the Nims.
in the
Oh,
Nims, Gabo. So like he sent me a beat, and I wrote the fire while I was.
Oh, that
on
was
it.
the fire in Cape Town.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cape Town. Yeah, man. I saw Youngster in Cape Town that time as well, because he's like.
Didn't you have a, like a
stayed at-
cipher, mini cipher thing?
We did the cypher thing in Durban. That was when Youngster was doing a gig for Red Bull.
Okay.
When nobody was out there, the hall was empty.
Yeah.
It was about like 20 of us.
Shit.
How long ago was that?
That was when was that? I don't know, but check out my Insta. There's a picture that I'm tagged with. There's Reason, there's Youngster.
Yo.
We
Yes, that's the
outside-
one that you put it
We're
up
outside
recently.
Blue Waters Hotel because that's where the gig happened. The gig happened. There's a hall on the side of Blue Waters, and like I got hit up by like I got hit up by Reason, I think.
Yeah.
And he's like, yo, man, there's a gig happening. I'm like, yo, come check it out. Come there. I'm like, yo, what's happening? It's Red Bull. It's not even advertised that good.
Sure.
It's like, who's on? It's homie Youngster. I'm like, oh, snap. Hey, what's up? And it was empty, but we were there.
Yeah.
We performed this set. We were there. We bumped to the whole
And
shit.
the O's performed like
Yeah,
they
like-
performed.
like
Yeah.
Danny said, bro. And then outside we deciphered together. That was outside Blue Waters. Yeah.
Do you miss that? Because I suppose now with besides the change in trajectory where you're going into the commercial space, but also being grown now, being a father, being a husband, do you miss that side of hip hop? Do you still get as much time to experience that side, like just ciphering, chilling,
Oh,
like
yeah.
when you just have moments where it's
The
just
crunchy
about
cross level
music,
thing
yeah,
of, like,
yeah.
any art.
Yeah, you can ask my wife, man. She scolds me for those random nights.
So you still sneak off. I gotta get my dose, man. I need my music. I got to
I get kicked in the ass for that. But like, dude, it's like I tend to find it channeled now, because I need structure in my life. So it's more channeled if I'm going to the studio, or because most ciphers happen outside there. If we went to a gig that I'm performing at, ciphers happen around there. It's not like something that we continuously have. Like, it just depends on the gigs and the spaces that are popping off. Gigs are scarce sometimes for like hip hop, but there are some really dope series of events that are popping off. So I find the cipher element in spaces where we congregate. And I do, and I do miss how we used to do it back in the day.
Where it wasn't, because now I suppose you also
just-
focused on, okay, although I'm just here trying to enjoy myself, but
It's
you also
business
have
now,
the business side, your
there's
brand,
budget that you need
what
to
am I
push,
doing, who am
Yeah.
I being seen by,
you
and all of
know,
that shit.
not fun and
there's
games
life.
anymore.
There's how much time you're spending at home, because that as well. We all fathers, we all married, trying to find that balance. between home and the industry. It's tricky when you have to be out there to be seen, because out of sight, out of mind type vibe. You know what I mean? So you have to be at these spaces, but still you have to go to the studio session and kill it. It might not end at 2, because right now shit's dope. Everyone's sleeping.
But they expecting you home at this time.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like there's these juggling things that I'm continuing to journey with, but I'm kind of getting
Isn't
it.
that like the same
Kinda
with
getting it
in
there.
your space?
Yeah, that's what-
because it sounds like when the way he's talking, and from my experience and knowing you as well, it sounds like very similar. Like
the same.
the music, the I would say independent artist has a very similar
Like, why are you going
part as a comedian.
Why are you
like
going
in
to
the
comedy?
comedian, yeah.
Like, I'm gonna go check it out.
Yeah.
It's comedy is what I love.
But it's
what you
but,
do.
but you're not
Are you
just
gonna-
going
something
there,
gonna happen
Skills
there?
People see you.
You
there,
see
like,
new people.
the
because we're
promoters are
working
there,
even when we're
yeah.
not working.
Yeah,
you know, even when you're not
exactly,
working, you
yeah.
need, like you're saying, you need to be visible.
But it's
You need to
difficult.
be out there.
to be
it's hard
seen.
to tell somebody who doesn't understand how you feel about doing something that's inside you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
That's so funny, bro. Like the
Fortunately,
three of
love
us
my baby.
being, but you have to have like
Yeah.
the three of us are married men, and we are only able to do this and pursue this the way we do because of them. Because of the
Be
understanding.
like,
Wouldn't
right
work for
now,
you, yeah.
I'm out here trying to make this bag, bro.
Yeah.
I don't care. My story. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yo, I almost
because I
asked
got
about
some
those
pressures
guys
at
that we were
home.
talking
You know,
about
like I
last
have to make sure that is really proper. That's just my reality. I'm like, I have a family, but I still need to be as hungry as the 21-year-old who's out here.
Because
not
now
giving
you-
a fuck, like Eminemy's Slim Shady days.
Exactly.
You know
Now
what I'm
you
saying?
you actually have to compete in the space
He
where
doesn't
there
care
are
if he-
these
He doesn't
kids.
even care if he eats today.
There are these kids that really don't.
Park at the Browse Sports, you're always coming with
Yeah,
more
bruh.
chords. We good, bro.
Yeah,
we good. Coming with another, like a sack of dank. We good. We're gonna record.
Put the mic on. Let's do what
You know, that's just
and
like,
they're creating
I can't-
movements
I'm not
out
doing that
of.
anymore.
This is the funny thing, bro. And a lot of the kids don't realize the advantage that they have is they creating movements out of shit that we used to do.
Oh yeah.
Coming up just
But that's-
by
that's
being
bad.
ourselves.
Yeah.
But now that you have access to record what you're doing on a daily basis and put it
Yeah,
out there.
we didn't have all of these.
We didn't have
back
that.
then,
But you're
So-
part of,
but
you're
it's
part of
just-
that thing
it's
though.
good.
Like you're saying, like you are part of the thing because you kind of you made the thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
If you
but
were,
you're still out here trying
is
to
the
get the
thing?
thing.
Yeah.
What is the thing? What is the thing, homie?
That's what I'm saying. You don't even know that you made the thing.
Yeah.
Like I had an argument with a dude over the thing. But I'm like, bruh, I made the thing. Like, yeah, but you're not doing the thing. I'm like, bruh,
I made it, you know. You're
you
supposed to
can't
be
tell me how
doing
to do
it.
the thing because you weren't gonna be doing the thing if I didn't do the thing
know
over
what I'm
here. Then he's like, yeah, but I'm like, no, bruh, go and tell other people. You know what I
But
mean?
then it goes back to
The moral of the story is do the thing.
do the thing. Do the thing. Don't fuck it up.
You have to do the thing, bruh.
Do the
And
thing.
then, but you don't know you're doing the thing until you look back and you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah,
I did the
like,
thing.
Somebody
Yeah.
like I studied this short course at Vega. It was branding and marketing management. And this pops was like, because like we had to submit this brand strategy for like one of our assignments. So like he was always about short goals.
Yeah.
Know what I mean?
Building
like,
to
try
the
and set
bigger,
short
yeah.
goals because
Achievable.
Yeah, because like you mentioned something of turning back and noticing how
Right.
far you've come. You know, sometimes when you're in it, you
You don't
just
have
looking
perspective.
forward,
Yeah.
but there's people looking at you and are like, yo, dog, you
Doing your shit, bro.
You're like, hey, man, I'm just trying to grind, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like these short goals are very important because of that. Looking back, thank God for Facebook and timelines, man.
True that,
Shit,
bro.
that shit.
You get that memory like, I did that shit.
I remember.
I did that shit.
You know, but like even with your movements in music,
Yeah.
that's just it. Yeah, it's beautiful.
What you say is true, though, bro. A lot of times we don't step back and acknowledge how much we may have actually accomplished. Just
Appreciation,
because we may
Giving
not be
thanks.
where we want to be at
It's
this
like
time.
it's like for me, it's like a memorable day.
Yeah, bro.
You know, you don't realize that today is gonna be a memorable day
Word.
until like 3 years from now. You're like, oh, that day was so dope. But when you're in the day, you just keep
It's
doing
like-
things.
You gotta
like,
be.
Yeah.
I think also because we're so entrenched in our art, like it's not something that we do, it's something that we are. Because like why I say that, for example, Richelieu was the first Comedy Central roast battle,
Comedy
right?
Central Roast Battle MC, yo.
Battle MC.
I'm a battle MC, dog.
and he'll tell you today, I'll take on anyone.
I will take on
You
anyone.
will
That's
take
the
on
spirit.
anyone.
That's
I
how
don't give a fuck.
it should never fade.
You've
That
accomplished
shit
you've
should
accomplished
never-
something like that, bruh. But that was just you being you. You didn't go on and like put in
Yeah.
like I need to put an act on and
Yeah,
deliver
nah.
this product and whatever.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
just
yeah.
you.
Just-
So
just
your
gotta kill
art
it.
is you.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and that's a weird thing though, because like if you say the thing, for me that will like if comedy was just doing roast battles.
Let's define the thing, because I think
The
some
thing
of
is
the
going to
people,
be a thing. I'm telling you.
I don't think we can define the thing. I think that's okay. It's fine.
You
It's
can't,
a
bro.
thing.
We'll sit here
it's,
forever.
it's
Nah, it's a
undefinable.
thing.
You can never define the thing. But
Because the thing is different for
yeah.
other like individuals.
you
Like,
said to
your
me-
thing may not
Yeah.
be my
Yeah,
thing.
you see, that's something that's very important. Is you know, like I've met some guys like along the way, and they were very. Some people get disheartened about what they do, or they lose passion in what they do because they're focusing on other people's.
another thing.
Yes,
Exactly.
saying,
Right.
oh, you just started, but you're
Yeah,
here already.
that's not how you do it, because the moment you do that, it's like you competing with someone who doesn't have your voice.
He's not
who
racing.
doesn't-
Yeah, it's like when you overtake a Porsche on the road, and like yo overtook a Porsche,
But he wasn't even
like,
racing. You know?
But
Wasn't
the
even
Porsche guy
about
looks at
you.
you like, yo, a Taz just passed.
I gotta get my shit together.
That's a funny way to look at it. Yeah.
This is why you got the club.
Hey, dog. Yeah, dude. Like, you know, stop looking at other people.
Yeah.
Right.
man.
Blinkers,
Just-
bruh.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just focus on your Chinese, bro, and let's make sure that you learn how to maneuver that.
Yeah.
How important is and how important are relationships in the industry?
Very important. As I said earlier on, the whole thing of integrity. Of course, man, we got that hip hop spirit where we're just like, fuck you, whatever.
Everything's a competition too.
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's just the hip hop spirit. But at the end of the day, like where deals are being discussed, where
Yeah.
people are talking about new moves, where people are even sharing insight. A person wants to speak to someone that they feel mutual respect.
True that.
There is a how can I say it?
An understanding. As
An understanding. You know what I mean? Like this person is where I'm at.
Yeah.
The same vibe with if you're gonna be an ass, then you asses are gonna gravitate to you. So if some homies will be like, damn,
I'm running the asses.
it's been years, you know, for some dudes. I'm good. but like, yeah, so the type of people that you want to gravitate towards you gotta be that person type vibe. You know what I'm saying? It's that simple. It's
the
simple
corny thing, but
mathematics,
your
yeah.
vibe
But I feel
attracts
like-
your
I feel like
tribe.
Exactly. That's straight up what it
For
is.
real,
That
bruh.
is not corny at all. That's standard. That's
I think
that's
we're
the
dropping.
motto,
I think we're
you know
dropping
what
too
I'm
much.
motto,
There's
bro.
too much knowledge in this episode, bro.
saying? Hey, bro.
I'm telling you.
We need to get t-shirts made. What is the thing?
We are the thing.
We are the thing.
No, but
sure
there's a
you
lot
do
of
the
bro.
thing.
You came with a lot of
For
knowledge.
real.
my man.
No, for it. You know what? We actually, I think we need to do another one because we have to wrap up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we need to
most
do another
definitely,
one. We
bro.
need to do an extended
version. All right.
of the Full Story podcast with Raheem Kemet. Thank you
bless,
so
bless.
much, brother.
Thank you, bro.
For blessing us
Always,
in
always.
this man came.
Dope.
I will, bro. Salute.
As always, Richelieu
Are we?
Kensei Funky, the Full Story podcast.
I was hoping you were gonna hit a cipher.
Cypher.
You see, isn't we don't freestyle because our style ain't free.
Nah, bro.
Shout out Princeton PDH. That's a Princeton line, right?
Yeah, it is actually. Shout out, man. I was watching a video the other day. Oh, Gavin Day posted with these two guys that were singing that looked just like Princeton. Like, yo, man, where your dad been, bro?
He wasn't happy about it. I checked his thread. He's like,
he's like,
maybe a little bit.
Nah, man. He knew that we were playing, man.
But the second,
he's like
the
a
one in
really
the
good
back,
brother.
really did look
He
like
did
him.
though.
He did look
But
like
your
him.
Princeton used to do.
Like Princeton was at the Somersault music video shoot, actually.
Was he?
Yeah, he was
Oh,
there.
where?
But we were talking
Princeton
about
was
Princeton. He
there,
also put out
yeah.
dope.
Gab
He
was
put
there
out
as well.
dope content for a while, though.
Yeah, he's nice. Now he's
He was on
actually working on
MTV.
He's
something.
working on. I think he's
Tell
dropping a
all
new
what?
album soon.
He's
Yeah.
working on something. I like the Durban movement. Then there's these other O's, Squad 6.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah, shout out Biggie.
You know, yeah. Like I asked Biggie to hook me up with some of the like his music
Yeah.
because, like, you know, it's always been there. It's just now trying to.
But is that like what Biggie and him do is completely different to like what is commonplace in hip hop in Durban specifically.
Yeah, it's
But what they do is
they
Very
I'm not
authentic.
here for
Durban.
you, son.
yeah,
Yeah,
they
no,
are
it's-
very authentic.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
Durban,
It's like
and I dig
TRO
it.
with lyrics.
yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
I'm not. No,
Hey,
no,
Chucky must need to say that shit. Yo, hey,
Slipping. I'm falling.
They started.
No, those are my
No,
kids.
for real, bro.
That's what I'm saying. They did
Don't
the
play
thing.
games,
It's
bro.
the tears in the. It's a tears in the.
No, but what he means is like,
No, but I hear you. Style,
Yeah, you know what he means.
stylized wise, you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
But
Yeah,
because the real story,
because there's not too many guys doing that. You know, like Youngster is doing that for the color community.
Right.
you know why it's harder for the Durban O's to do it though is because nationally the perception of the colored person is youngster. It's the Afrikaans,
That's something else that
the
people.
Afrikaans culture,
I
you
don't know
know.
where I don't know where I watched this, but like. No, it
was our
the
podcast. Yeah, episode 1 with Robbie, we were talking about it.
We're
Yeah.
talking about the same vibe of the perception and the different flavors of
Exactly.
especially colors in different provinces. That's
Now for Durban,
crazy.
because Durban's is so isolated, when you present that package nationally, and it's to be honest, it is harsh.
It's hard to
in
digest,
terms of
yeah.
the speech, like the consonants with the Durban colored
different
accent
vibes.
and
But
things like
but
that.
we got our own flavor though.
But
I'm
yeah.
just saying, like,
But TRO
just
across all those boundaries,
rep your
bro.
flavor.
Because
Like,
what
just
they
rep
did
your
was,
thing.
this was the clever thing. They hopped on the Kwaito
Yeah, they had the
movement,
music,
you
yeah,
see,
yeah.
so they had essentially Kwaito beats with the
That-
TRO brain funk
that-
flavor,
that
and
was-
that kicked off.
That was the climate of that time.
Of that
Right.
time.
What is the climate right now?
Now I was in the same. I'm like you were talking about Squad 6.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Pay attention to the real shit.
I feel Biggie is
Yeah.
a crossover artist. for
Yeah,
me.
he's the
Biggie's
Beyonce.
nice, man.
He's the Beyonce.
Like
of
he has
Scotland.
international
I love that
appeal
homie. He's nice,
he's
man.
the
I
one.
was like that's
because
some dope shit.
of
So
his
shout out to-
eloquence
shout out to the homie.
of the gully.
Yeah.
Like his
I like
accent is thorough,
Yeah.
but it's
But his
eloquent.
pictures are there. You
Yes,
can-
his
you can
pictures
see
are
the
there.
pictures, yeah.
You know. So I even think visually they must get subtitles out so people can truly understand.
That's not a bad idea.
For real, bro. So
Right,
they
it's
can
not a
truly
bad idea, but we should
understand.
listen to Bone.
Hey, imagine if we had subtitles for that, bro. We
But
wouldn't
then you'd be like, what the
You know what I'm saying?
No, but this doesn't sound like make it.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I feel that. So
I like Durban, man.
Yeah, bruh.
I like the artists that are there, and I know that it has always been the case of Durban artists going out and
shout out to Loki.
yeah, hey, Loki.
Shout out to Loki.
Loki, man.
The new
I'm-
Loki.
Yeah.
I'm
the
on link
new
with
Loki.
Loki. Like he stays near here. So like we'll be posted up. So I'm actually gonna link for a session.
That's the thing. So like for me, when I'm doing shows in Dubs, I always have the hip hop dudes there. So Princeton, when I first started doing comedy, and Princeton was also just new to music.
Jet
he
does
used
quite
to
a bit
do-
of your
Yeah,
your
Jet did
brain
the
was at
last
the
one.
batter
So
as
Jet
well.
did, he did. So once
Oh wait, Jets is another dude.
For real, bruh.
Jet was my
Don't play
dude.
games.
So I had this thing I wanted him to do. I wanted him to do. So I wanted to do because the thing is we do hip hop, but like Squad 6 came into our last show.
Sure.
But they were just too hardcore for the crowd. And they're like, yo, these dudes are they got the masks on and they're walking in it. And then so it's such a Jet. yo,
There's a time and place for
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
I feel.
So say-
and like also, sorry to cut you off. You're about to go in there.
But that's
I
what-
ain't sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
No,
But
but
that's
there's
where branding is
there's
important too, yeah.
there's also just tweaks, you know, like the one thing that I've learned as well when stepping into the industry is remain a teachable spirit, because the moment you think you know anything,
Don't
then
be
you're
a
not
full
climbing,
cup.
you're not evolving, you know what I'm saying? So
Because how can you get better if you know everything
but it's
already?
really hard for artists sometimes to be in a studio and be told that, yo, you know what, let's try and tweak this beat.
Yeah,
like this.
yeah.
Like I feel you should. But
everyone, bro.
if we like, but we had movies that showed us. If you watch that Biggie Smalls movie when Puff came into the studio with that sample. That
the soul juicy vibe,
sample.
yeah.
And the homies are laughing.
And they
like,
were-
wow, what the
They
fuck?
were like, nah, this
What
ain't
is this?
street.
And that was one of Puffy's breakthroughs. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
that same sort of lesson that shit was trying to teach. Now, when you're in studio now and you like, what I like to do is also rock up with DJs.
Yeah.
Because DJs also know the feel of what's popping out there, especially dance floors, etc.
Yeah.
So like when I create music, I send the homies some shit like, yo, man, do you think this thing?
And get their feedback so that
Get
you
feedback
know,
from
hey,
that.
am I hitting or not?
Or just have the right people that can help with art direction too. Because sometimes we get too caught up with just making the dopest rhyme. I just want to make the dopest rap. Like right now, I just want
You
the
end up
dopest
in a
shit,
bubble, bruh.
and then you end up in your own bubble.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're screaming in a room there by yourself.
Which essentially,
You are-
You are
Slapping your
screaming
toe down and
by
people are
yourself,
like-
and everyone is just walking by,
Yeah.
and you look like a madman. Type steez, you know. You know what I'm saying?
type of thing.
But that's
type
because
of
you're not
thing.
plugged into what is actually being consumed and what do people want at the moment. Because as much as art is a personal thing, if you want to be a working artist,
You have to
you
do it
have
for the
to
people.
you have to cater to a market. It's that's
There has
where,
to be a
that's
degree
where
of
business
pandering.
comes
And that's
in.
a
Yeah.
lesson that some people master and some people just fall off.
Yeah. You know, we wrapped up 15 minutes
Yeah,
ago.
yeah. This is.
cool.
So what's
post-
next for Raheem before we go for real? So
Next,
you're here in Joburg for a month.
Yeah. Like it just depends, you know. Like I have some
Plus,
family
minus, yeah.
vibes that is that I have to pay attention to.
Yeah.
But like I plan to be here for a month, push the single, as well as just create music, of course.
As an album in the works?
I already
Or
have,
a project?
I already have project.
Yeah.
Like I have a bunch of songs that are just chilling right now that could be an album, but I'm just trying to suss things out. Like I think it'll just depend on whether it's time to drop
Yeah.
an album. You know what I mean? But I am creating music, trying to hold down the Home Quick Sessions events up in Joburg.
For sure.
Like God willing with that, but I feel we quite aligned. Just waiting for that to pop off, and then just try and make mad connects and do the right thing, bro.
It's all about the
know what I'm saying?
networking. It's all
Yeah,
about the
bro.
networking.
That's what it
Aware. So for real, we out.
For real this time.
It's been
Aware.
really dope. I actually feel like we don't have enough time for this one. That is why we need to do another one.
Most
For real,
definitely.
much
Let's
love,
do
my
it. Let's
brother.
do it. Yes, bro. Salute
RK
us.
all day.
RK all day.
The
Aware.
Yes,
source
please.
of
Richelieu, you
information.
hundreds, bro?
I'm great.
You good? I'm good. Max, you cool? Annie?
Yeah.
Lo, you good?
Everyone's
Then
chill.
we the fuck out.
We
Aware.
full story.